The real budget killer? That's all too familiar. Hey, at the pump.
AAA says the average price of a gallon of regular gas is almost $4.99 today. Stocks are down well over 2% right now. The Dow off 733. S&P down 102. International travelers won't have to show proof of negative COVID tests to enter the U.S. anymore. CBS's Steve Dorsey from Washington.
The testing requirement will end Sunday, but a White House official says the CDC could reimpose the testing measure in 90 days if things like a new COVID-19 variant concerns public health officials. The White House says it follows what it calls tremendous progress against the virus.
Americans watched violent, never-before-seen footage of the January 6th attack on TV last night. Congressman Adam Kinzinger, one of only 2 Republicans on the January 6th investigating team, spoke to CBS Mornings.
I think Donald Trump is very mentally incapable of being president. But I think he knew that these were lies, but he was desperate for anything he could grasp to stay in power, because he can't lose.
CBS News chief political analyst John Dickerson.
The thing that's most vital about this is not some event in the past. This is about whether the democracy can handle the peaceful transfer of power, and that's a question of the present, and it's a question of our future.
President Trump messaging today on his Truth Social platform, calling former Attorney General William Barr a coward and lambasting his daughter Ivanka, who was seen testifying last night. It'll be another day of record-setting heat in the South. Meteorologist David Parkinson.
The record high temperatures stretch a large area. They stretch from California all the way to Texas. We've got triple-digit temperatures across Texas, including triple digits in Dallas. We'll probably get to 102, 103 in Austin and San Antonio.
S&P off 107 right now. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
It is 8:03 at the Bay Area's news station KCBS. Sunny skies, hot temperatures expected throughout the afternoon today. Good morning, I'm Melissa Culver.
And I'm Jason Brooks.
Here's what's happening.
Sweltering temperatures are expected around much of the Bay Area today, with the National Weather Service warning of dangerous heat in some inland areas. KCBS's Mike DeWald reports live. It's prompted many counties to take added precautions. Mike.
That's right, Jason. It will be hot. Most of the Bay Area will see temperatures into the mid to upper 90s. Solano County could get as high as 106. Officials are recommending people limit their time in the sun, use air conditioning when possible, and drink plenty of water. Santa Clara County will be opening almost 24 cooling centers at community centers and libraries. Kia Zhang is with the county's Office of Emergency Management.
We want to make sure that everyone is taking the necessary precautions to make sure that these individuals have a place to go if they are in need.
Many of these warnings are geared toward young children and the elderly, but Sonoma County Deputy Health Officer Dr. Kismet Baldwin says everyone is at risk of overextending.
I think sometimes the younger and the healthy end up in a little bit of trouble because they are young and healthy and you don't think anything's going to affect you.
Danica Insurance is with PG&E. She says widespread power outages aren't expected.
We always want our customers to be prepared for a possible power outage, no matter what time of year it is, and especially during multiple days of heat.
Some encouraging news. Ryan Walburn with the National Weather Service says by Sunday the heat will be a distant memory.
The good news with this one, it does look like it's going to be a short-term event.
Reporting live, Mike DeWald, KCBS.
Thank you, Mike. And of course, stay with KCBS for continued coverage of the heat wave throughout the day, including in our traffic and weather reports. Well, in other news, the first primetime hearing of the Congressional Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol insurrection contains some bombshells. KCBS's Chris Ancarlo reports the series of public hearings is designed to engage as many people as possible.
The committee used new video footage of the insurrection to showcase the violence of that day, and then 2 witnesses were called to offer their first-person experience. One of them was U.S. Capitol Police Officer Carolyn Edwards. She was knocked out as the mob rushed the barricades. She regained consciousness and rejoined the police line further up the Capitol steps.
I can just remember my breath catching in my throat.
She says it was the first time she saw the full scale of what was happening that day.
What I saw was just a war scene. It was something like I'd seen out of the movies. I couldn't believe my eyes. There were officers on the ground. They were bleeding. They were throwing up.
She said she was slipping in the blood of other officers.
It was carnage. It was chaos.
The committee closed the hearing with a montage of rioters explaining why they went to the Capitol that day, many of them saying they were spurred on by President Trump. Chris Carlo, KCBS.
It was jarring for members of Congress who were inside the Capitol that day to watch the never-before-released footage of the insurrection. KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports one of them was San Francisco and San Mateo Congresswoman Jackie Speer.
It was like reliving it, says Speer.
When you watch the video, it brings back these horrific memories. You know, time tends to dull our memories. But watching that video tonight was frightening.
She says for her, the footage brought to light how tenuous our democracy is in America.
It really speaks to the fragility of this democracy. And we came very close to having an autocracy. And may still be in that situation.
Which she says is why she sees the committee's job of laying out all of the evidence to the public as so important.
This is the most profound form of oversight I think we will witness in the history of the country. It far exceeds Watergate.
Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
Stay tuned to KCBS for extensive coverage of the hearings on air and on the Odyssey app, or by telling your smart speaker to play kcbsradio.com.
Just ahead on KCBS, a 16-year-old boy is dead, the latest victim of gun violence in Oakland. We are first for traffic with Kim Wunderly. She's in your local Honda dealer's traffic center, and she's got an update on what's turned out to be a very busy Friday in some spots.
Yeah, this has been a little bit crazy, expecting it to be very light on a Friday, heading into a nice weekend, some kind of summer season starting, taking the volume of traffic down, but we've had so many dramatic crashes. We are looking almost completely recovered now, though, on westbound 580, and this report is brought to you by Pacific Private Money. I'm talking about the Central Valley section of 580. We had a terrible crash past Corral Hollow earlier, heading up toward Tracy, that had blocked both lanes, required medevac helicopter. That has been cleared now. There's only a little bit of slow traffic left at the 132 split, so otherwise we look fine here. Lower deck of the Bay Bridge, the eastbound side. Now, we had a bad crash a bit ago near the Toll Plaza area, eastbound heading into Oakland. That just recently cleared, but now we're hearing from Greg at the KCBS phone force, an accident in that backup, he says about mid-span on the lower deck, blocking the two middle lanes, the number 2 and 3 lanes as you count left to right. And that accounts for the hang-up of traffic, because now we're backed up, let's call it from the San Francisco Anchorage through the tunnel before traffic starts to improve a bit heading to the Oakland side. So you just can't win here with the eastbound Bay Bridge. Lanes are open once again at Devil's Slide as you make your way to and through Pacifica. We had a head-on collision there that had both sides of Highway 1 blocked at Devil's Slide. Not the case any longer. And the Pacific Private Money Bridge report also taking a look at the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Barely any wait at the toll plaza here. And good news for both peninsula spans, Dumbarton and the San Mateo bridges, lightly traveled today. Pacific Private Money can help bridge the financial gap between selling your current home and securing your new home. Find out more at PacificPrivateMoney.com. Your next update, 8:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanks, Kim. A lot of folks probably headed to the beach. It's going to be lovely out there, but it's also going to be a little warmer than normal. 70s at the coast, 80s and 90s bayside. We could see the low 100 inland. Overnight clear, mostly in the 60s. Tomorrow hot again, just not quite as toasty. Looking to top out at the 90s inland. Expecting a high of 99 in Morgan Hill, 97 in Livermore, and 87 in Oakland. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Replacing your windows and doors can be life-changing, inspiring you to live a healthy, happy life.
test, Doppler ultrasound, and a full year of follow-up visits for just $99. Learn more at PrimeMailMedical.com or call 415-761-4037. That's 415-761-4037.
You're in a big box bed store. Rows and rows of mattresses stretch out before you. They all look pretty much the same, because they are pretty much the same. That's one of the reasons a little mattress store in Berkeley has been able to prosper for 50 years. They're different. Different because they use the finest European components, and they can't wait to show them to you. Find out for yourself at European Sleepworks, Adeline and Ashby in Berkeley, or online at sleepworks.com.
KCBS News Time 8:12. This portion of our News Watch sponsored by Pacific Coast Termite.
Gun violence has claimed the life of a 16-year-old boy in Oakland and left another teen injured. KCBS's Matt Bigler reports live from the East Bay that authorities say a high-powered rifle was involved. Matt.
Jason, the shooting happened just before 6 o'clock last night near 64th and Camden, just blocks from Mills College.
When we arrived on the scene, unfortunately, we found a 16-year-old juvenile who was suffering from gunshot wounds. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries.
Oakland Police Chief LaRon Armstrong says bullets also struck an 18-year-old. He was taken to the hospital and is reportedly in stable condition. Chief Armstrong says there is no motive for this shooting, but they do know what type of weapon was used.
We know that it was a high-powered rifle that was shot, and we know people saw what happened. I think everybody should be concerned when a child is gunned down, and I hope anybody who has any information related to this unfortunate homicide, just like we do with every homicide, I hope they bring that information forward.
The killing brings the number of homicides in Oakland so far this year to 50. The CHP also investigating 4 killings on freeways within the city limits. Live in the East Bay, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
Thank you, Matt. KCBS News Time 8:13. Yes, Game 4 of the NBA Finals is tonight. We will talk about that in just over 2 minutes.
My friends at Pacific Coast Termite have treated almost 50,000 commercial businesses and homes, including mine, and they can help you too. Joe Starkey here. For years, you've been hearing me talk about the great experience my family and I had with Pacific Coast Termite. Well, recently I visited their Fremont headquarters to personally thank them for their excellent work. I was impressed with everything, from their professional, courteous operators answering the phones to the experienced technicians who were headed out on home inspections throughout the Bay Area. They are A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Pacific Coast Termite solve my termite and rodent problems. They use orange oil and Health-Recept. They kill the termites and guarantee their work for 2 years. So if you're even thinking about a termite treatment, start where I did. Call Pacific Coast Termite at 800-PACIFIC. Call now and get 10% off your termite treatment. If you're an apartment or HOA owner, Pacific Coast Termite can help you too. That's 800-722-4342 or visit PacificCoastTermite.com today.
Coming up on KCBS, Game 4 tonight. Can the Warriors pull out a win in Boston? We're going to look into our crystal balls, try to answer that question with Tim Roy, radio play-by-play announcer for the Warriors, with our sister station 95.7 The Game. That's coming up in 90 seconds.
Summer learning loss can be especially hard on students with learning differences like dyslexia, ADHD, or autism. The Landmark College Bay Area Success Center helps high school and college students stay on track during summer months by leveraging their strengths and teaching them effective study habits. Visit landmark.edu/success center and book an in-person or online appointment with one of our learning specialists. That's landmark.edu/success center.
Where are your family's old film reels, videotapes, and photos? Are they sitting in dusty shoeboxes and neglected bins at risk of completely fading away? Digitizing your aging media with Legacy Box is the safe and easy way to preserve and pass down your family's legacy. Simply send your Legacy Box kit filled with old home movies and pictures. Legacy Box does the rest, converting your moments to DVD or digital. Legacy Box has been trusted by over 1 million families and has over 10,000 5-star reviews. Be your family's hero. Unlock the memories trapped on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm reels. Experience the joy and excitement of rewatching your wedding day, baby's first steps, and Christmas mornings. Feel relief knowing all those cherished moments are safe from fires and water damage. The Legacy Box Father's Day event is happening now. Go to legacybox.com/value to save 50%. Legacy Box is great for your family or as a gift for dad. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off. legacybox.com/value.
KCBS News Time 8:16. We head over to the Bay Area Chevy Dealer Sports Desk with Joe Hughes, who has a special guest.
Yeah, Game 4 of the NBA Finals will pick up tonight at 6 p.m. Warriors trailing the Celtics 2-1, and joining us now with a look at how the series has unfolded so far, the voice of those Golden State Warriors with our Odyssey sister station 95.7 The Game, Tim Roy. And Tim, we've seen this series kind of play out so far with a lot of big runs. You know, the Celtics fourth quarter in Game 1, the Warriors third quarter in Game 2, and then Boston with a fast start and a big finish in Game 3. What's your view on maybe what we thought was going to happen and what's transpired so far?
Well, you know, one of the things, Joe, that I thought coming into the series, I thought we would go back to Chase Center Game 5 tied at 2. I really thought that home court was not going to be as big a factor. Either way, I still believe that. And I just think that what's, you know, the matchup the Warriors have with Boston is their worst in the league. That's a team that has had a winning record against them. They're long, they're young, they're athletic, they've got dynamic scorers in Brown and Tatum. So I think we've seen what we could have expected in this series. The one thing I believe that turned Game 3 was once the Warriors got into rhythm and got back in the game, they started the fourth quarter with a series of turnovers. If they can avoid that kind of flurry, I think they'll be in good shape tonight.
Tim, Jason Brooks here. You know the Boston crowd is going to be all over Draymond tonight. How do they get past that and get back into his game?
I just think Draymond needs to come out and be him. Just lock in and be who he is. He loves wearing the black hat. People that you know, Cowboy movie analogy. He loves coming in and diving into the crowd. And I think that's if he gets to that tonight, then I think he'll be fine. Always surprising to see him have the kind of game he had in Game 3. I think he'll be much better tonight.
You know, Tim, I think everyone if they lose tonight, what will they need to do and what kind of fire might that light underneath them?
Well, if you lose tonight, then you're really behind the 8 ball. There's only been a couple of teams, and really, you know, in all of the betting sports, there's only been a handful of teams that have come back down 3-1 and won a 7-game series. So if you lose tonight, then every moment you have on the floor has to be one of desperation, has to be one of that kind of energy because, you know, if you lose tonight, there is no tomorrow. Where you have to play like it's happening. I think that's the way they need to play tonight, really, in a way, because you know that you're down 3-1, almost impossible to beat a really good team 3 times in a row. So, you know, I think tonight is the night where they really have to take care of business, and then that's 2 and 3. You know, at that point, you're looking at a point.
Voice of the Golden State Warriors, Tim Roy, joining us here on KCBS. And Tim, you know, one of the fun things about a finals matchup is you get to see the same team over and over again. You get to watch their tendencies and learn that. And we saw in Game 3, I know there was some foul trouble for Steph Curry early on, but Boston was really hunting Steph Curry, putting him in, you know, one-on-one situations where he had to be the primary defender. Is that something that you think the Warriors will be able to, you know, make that adjustment and counter tonight to try to take some of that pressure off of Steph, especially with the foot injury that he left in the fourth quarter of Game 3?
Yeah, Steph says he's fine, that he's going to be okay and good to go. So I think if you're Boston, you're going to continue that same track. And to me, it's not necessarily that you have to get away from that. I just think you have to make it harder for them to get them. And then, you know, the other part with Tatum, especially when Tatum has that matchup, to me, it's not his point. He's not an incredibly efficient scorer. He's got to, you know, he's going to take a lot of shots. To me, it's his assists. He gets a high number of assists. That's when Boston, I think, is difficult to beat. So I think Boston will try that. I think the Warriors make it a little more difficult for them to get into that. So when that player gets the ball and the shot clock is really close, then I think they'll be doing their job.
Tim, Boston hammered the Warriors on the glass. Yeah, Kevon Looney only played 17 minutes. Are you expecting more out of him tonight?
Yeah, I'm expecting Kevon will bounce back tonight. I think, you know, that game got away from them early, so they had to try some different things. And then when Kevon wasn't on the floor, that's when they made their run. So it's hard to get a guy back in there when the 5 guys you have on the floor are playing well. So I think that's really what happened in Game 3. It wasn't anything on Kevon.